Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. You're listening to another video for League of Legends, this one featuring Swain. This is taken from another one of our Tuesday night custom games with fans of the YouTube channel. In this game, I'm going to be playing as Swain. Alongside me is Ninja Squid playing as Aurelia, Nazofox playing as Skarner, Verisnox playing as Tristana, and Paugai, I hope I get that name right, playing as Kale. Then on the other team, we have Notion playing as Udyr, we have Phil000 playing as Renekton, we have Phoenix Soulblade playing as Brand, Rainting playing as Sivir, and Rar101 playing as Alistar. So there's the two matchups for you on either side there. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to talk about Swain as we go through this video. I'll try to give an overview, a little bit of Swain. Seems to be a bit of an underplayed champion. He is definitely viable as a champion, can be played pretty effectively. You will sometimes see teams breaking him out in competitive play on occasion. Not as much recently, but every now and then you will see it. He is a mage who deals damage over time, so he's a little bit different than a lot of the other AP champs who are more about dealing burst damage. Swain does more of a tanky build and deals damage over time. He, of course, can be shut down to a great extent with Ignite. If you don't have an Ignite, though, he can be very difficult to kill, and I'll talk more about his abilities as we go through the game. But Swain, all about damage over time, and very good at sustaining himself both with health and both on mana. As far as this game goes, we are trying to get set up for our jungler, Nazofox, who's playing as Skarner. That's why we're hanging out over here. A bit of an oddity. Notice the exhaust taken instead of flash. Normally, most people take flash on Skarner if they're going to jungle, just because flashing and then using Skarner's ultimate to grab somebody is one of the stronger ways to go. So exhaust viable, but not something that you see too often, just because being able to flash and grab someone. Anyway, Nazofox also started with 4 pots for some reason, and I wanted to type, and someone asked why was that, so I wanted to type that Skarner likes to live dangerously, but I mistyped it and said he likes to I think I typed Skarner lives to live dangerously or something like that, so whatever. Anyway, we are just doing our standard pull here, just getting started. I'm not sure why Ninja Squid used his Heat 10 style a little bit early there. I guess he just got a little bit jumpy. But in terms of the lanes, I'll just go ahead and show them for you guys quickly before we get started here. Again, I'm going to be playing in mid against Phoenix Soulblade. I'm using the Northern Front Swain skin. He's using the Cryocore Brand skin, so let's see if we can get a little bit of a view of that. There we go. You can't do this normally while playing, but you can tilt the camera when you're using the replay mode. So there we go, the two of us hanging out there in middle lane. In top lane, Ninja Squid's playing Aurelia against Phil000, who's playing as Renekton. So that's a relatively even matchup there, although Phil is a much higher rated player in terms of elo than most players in this game. He's between 1600 and 1700. Then down in bottom lane, Verisnox is playing Trist for us, playing as AD. Our Kale player, Paugai, I think I'll just go with Paugai, is playing as a support Kale, which is a support that I'm not a big fan of. Then Rainting is playing as Sivir, Rar101 is playing as Alistar, and their jungler is Notion playing as Udyr. Alright, so here we go. This is the laning matchup right here. Again, I'm going to try to talk about Swain, what his abilities do. I put my first point into his W skill, but I'm actually going to max this skill second. This is one of Swain's best skills. You can see marks a target area, and after a short delay, Talons grab hold of an enemy unit, deals magic damage, and roots them for 2 seconds. This is his root, and the reason why I took that was it's a little area of effect damage skill, and it was useful in pulling the wolves, and also in pulling the useful in pulling the blue golem for my jungler. But like I said, I'm actually going to max this second. I'm going to max a different skill first. Anyway, I'm just trying to last hit as best I can. I guess I should mention one thing that gives Swain sustain in lane is every time that he last hits a minion, he does get mana back. So it's very important to be able to last hit with Swain. As long as you can last hit, you will be able to sustain. You won't run out of mana to use your skills. If you are not able to do so, then you will run out of mana really quickly. Now right here, I'm going forward to harass Phoenix Soulblade, but I do a poor job of that, and I get hit by a full Brand combo, and it takes out more than half my life. So yes, I'm going to have to drink actually both of my remaining health pots, and as such I'm going to have to play defensively in lane. Now I've already mentioned the never move. This is his root. This is his best skill, I think I would say. This is probably Swain's best skill. Of course it is a skill shot. It can be difficult to land. Notice the range, it's quite good. If you can catch people in this, it's very easy to kill them. His other skills, one of the things that makes Swain strong in lane is his harass is mostly undodgeable. By the way, that's a nice pillar from Phoenix Soulblade. Right there, I'm going to use both my E and my Q, so let me describe what they do. They're both damage over time skills. I'm going to be maxing Swain's E first. This is his Torment. Swain, you just point and click on someone and afflicts them for magic damage over 4 seconds. and while they're taking the torment damage, all of Swain's attacks deal increased damage. You can see deals increased damage over time. So this is why you normally want to max. This is why you max his torment first, because it causes not just the torment to deal more damage, but all of his skills to deal more damage. So like I said, damage over time, point and click. The range is not that great. Notice how the range is much smaller on my E than on my W, and that's by design. So the range for the E and the range of the Q is actually the same. Here you can see them, they're both the same. So like right there, I just use Torment. And notice how it just deals damage over time, and there's nothing that Phoenix Soulblade can do about it. So that's one of the strengths of Swain. Now again, his E works really nicely with his Q. Again, this is another damage over time. Decrepify. Swain sets his Raven to cripple an enemy. Over the next 3 seconds, they take magic damage over time and are slowed. So this is a slow, and it's also a damage over time. And right there, I actually clicked on the wrong minion, which means I'm not going to get any of these. Ugh. So, a basic combo for Swain is walk up to somebody, use your E, and then your Q on them. They'll take damage over time, and they will be slowed. And then while they're slowed from your Q, you hit them with your W. Because they'll be rooted to the ground and be unable to move away. So that's sort of the basic combo. You shouldn't just be using your W very often, because it's a skill shot and it's pretty easy to dodge. You should only really be using your W if you can set it up with your E and your Q ahead of time. In particular, the slow on the Q makes it a lot easier to it makes it much easier to hit your root on your W. So again, that's sort of one of the key things. When I first started playing Swain, I thought that the idea was, you just try to hit them with this skill shot with the W, and then go in for harass. But it's just too hard to hit players with your W because it's a skill shot. So anyway, like I said, Swain's strength is sustaining himself in lane as long as you can last hit, which I did not do a particularly great job of right there. I'm still missing some of these last hits. So you want to be able to last hit in lane, and there I'm actually going to use this Torment to last hit that, and now I'm going to go back to buy. I'm on 36 minion kills. That's not bad. I would say that that's solid, not spectacular. Ideal would be around 45, but I have, of course, missed some. And I'm roughly even with Phoenix Soulblade, who's bought an Amplifying Tome on his first trip back. Now, I'm going to build towards a Catalyst. I want to build a Rod of Ages. Swain, you want to build him a bit tankier than other mages. So the extra health from the Rod of Ages is really helpful. You want to be able, because you need to be able to stand in the middle of team fights and soak up a lot of damage, so you really do need the extra health. Up here, there is a gank coming in. Notion that Jungle Udyr is ganking Ninja Squid, but it looks like he is going to be able to escape that without too many problems. So nicely done up there in top lane. Now, of course, Swain's ult is what he's famous for. Swain turns into a giant raven, so I'll highlight it for you here. Swain transforms into raven form during this time. Little ravens strike out at nearby enemies. They deal damage, deal magic damage, and also heal for a certain amount of the damage dealt. So it heals for 75% of damage dealt against champions, 25% against minions. And that's been changed a couple times. Now, Nowzafox is trying to give me blue, which is good. I do want to get blue buff, but I also wanted to make sure I got the last minion in that wave. So that's why I was taking a little bit of time. Apologies for that, but I did want to make sure I got those last hits. So there is my root, there is the never move, and there we go, the damage over time takes it. So again, all of Swain's skills basically do damage over time. His ult doesn't deal burst damage, it deals damage slowly over a certain amount of, each second you're dealing X amount of damage. So it's really about right there. I'm going to use my E. I should have used my Q right there as well. A bit of a mistake on my part. So I go into harass with my ult, and now I'm going to get my mana back while last hitting minions. That's sort of the idea there. But I was able to get in some pretty good harass on Phoenix Soulblade right there. Swain, very blue dependent. He needs blue to use his ult, otherwise he runs out of mana really quickly because the cost to run his ult, notice how it increases by 5 mana each second. So right there I'm going to go in, there is E, there's Q, and with him slowed off of my Q, I'm going to be able to go in, and right there Phoenix Soulblade's going to flash away, otherwise he would have died there. Now the biggest mistake right there was I was slow in using, I was a little slow in turning on my ult there. And if I had turned it on slightly faster, if you notice, I actually got stunned by his brand combo while my ult was not on. If I had turned on my ult about 2 seconds earlier, I think I would have been able to kill him there. But anyway, I'm going to farm, and as long as Swain has blue buff, he can convert mana into health by running his ultimate, because of course he'll be life-stealing. You can life-steal off of minion waves. Now, you used to be able to lifesteal a lot more off minion waves, but they did change it so you deal more damage to champs and less damage to minions, or less healing from minions. You still do the same amount of damage. So here I am, I'm just running my ult, again, get mana back with each last hit. Notice how it's pretty easy to farm with Swain once you hit 6. So there we go. Now I push that wave to my tower, and now I can look to go off and do stuff in other lanes, potentially. So I'm looking to come down here and looking to do something in bottom lane, but as it turns out, they've actually have been pushed back to tower. So I got down to about here, And then I asked Varus if I could do anything, and he was like, nah, I don't think you can. So turn around and head back up. Now, my time could have been better spent taking the Wraiths there. Would have been more useful. Notice the Wraiths are just sitting there. I could have gone for that instead. And that would have been, like I said, a better use of my time right there. So anyway, just last hitting here, and there we go. I'm going to get most of those minions. It's being pinged that their jungler is on his way up. Let's see, what am I looking to do right here? I'm not exactly, I think I was looking to go up to top lane and try to help out with Ninja Squid against Phil. I was worried in this game that since Phil was the highest rated player by Elo in this game, that might need help up here in top lane. If you look at what's going on in top lane, 45 minion kills for Ninja Squid and 69 for Phil 000. So he is winning this lane, and he's actually gotten a gold per 10 item as well. So I went up there, but it looks like it was warded. So again, I've been thinking about trying to gank other lanes, but haven't really been able to pull anything off yet. And again, that reflects the fact that I'm doing pretty well in this lane right here. So I'm trying to help out other lanes. Alternately, what I can do is I can go take the Wraith camps. That will get me more farm. So really, it's one of those two things. What I want to do is I want to push the minion wave up to this tower, and then I want to go and do something else with my time. There is EQ right there, and I'm going to try to hit the root, and it does hit Phoenix Soulblade, and so I believe that this is going to be able to finish him off. No, he's not quite dead, but and I think I would have gotten him there, except that Notion showed up. Right there, I'm going to use the slow on my E, and use the slow on my Q, and I used Torment as well, and that was enough to kill Notion there, Jungle Udyr. So he came in, and he was able to save his brand player in mid, but he ended up taking a lot of damage from me as well. Notice though that how fast I run out of mana as soon as my blue buff's out. I was running my ult for quite a long time right there, and it was justified since I was getting ganked, and it did get me a kill, but it runs me out of mana very quickly. So now I need the last hit with auto attack in order to get some of this health back. Although, I'm just going to take them both with my Q. Or my W, excuse me. But still, nonetheless, that went quite well. I was pretty happy with how that went. I was able to get a kill. It's a shame I didn't get the kill on Phoenix Soulblade. I would have gotten a blue buff, a refresher on blue buff off of that. But I did manage to get a kill on Notion nonetheless. And with 80 CS in mid against 59 for Phoenix Soulblade, I'm in pretty comfortable shape. Meanwhile, there is a gank attempt going on in top lane, but no mana on Nazofox. It doesn't seem like he's going to be able to do a whole lot right there. So I'm in very comfortable shape mid as far as what's going on down here in bottom lane. Varus didn't really want to have a Kayle support, or a little unhappy with the Kayle support pick. I wouldn't say that works. Kayle I wouldn't say is a support to begin with, but not a great amount of synergy with Tristana. So just basically farming down here, but Rainting already does have a kill, and he's even in CS. So that lane is fairly even so far. Anyway, so what I've done is I'm, again, building towards Rod of Ages. Again, notice how I used my E, my Torment, on Phoenix Soulblade. And again, what I want to do, the idea of playing Swain, is just anytime you can, just walk up to them and use EQ. You get the mana back by last hitting minions. And again, these are undodgeable. As long as you're in range, they will take the damage. The danger against Brand here is I have to be a little bit careful about how I do this. I don't want to get full comboed by Brand while walking up to trade Harass. So if I see Phoenix Soulblade use his pillar, that's when I'm going to try to go in and try to exchange, try to harass him, because if his pillar is on cooldown, he obviously can't use it on me. There we go. So anyway, I'm in really comfortable shape here. I'm getting most of the minions. Again, notice how I'm on full health and full mana. Again, that's Swain's strength, is his sustain. So right there, what did I say? Down goes the pillar. I'm going to move into harass, but Phoenix Soulblade is going to back out instead. So I'm just going to get those minion kills with my ultimate right there. I'm also getting close to 11, and my ult gets a lot stronger when I hit 11 and get another point in my ultimate. Now, we are worried about our blue buff. We're worried about them going to do our blue. Notice we see Notion going to our blue because we've got we've got good ward coverage here and here. So we see him going to our blue, and so Nazofox and I are going to come over and see if he's there. Nope, he's actually not. He's going to back out. So while I'm here, I'll go ahead and take this blue. I'm going to use E and Q on it. I'm going to save W to pick up the buff. And, well, I actually should have held it slightly longer, but you get the idea. E and Q for the damage over time, and then never move for the just to pick up the Golem buff. And notice the timing. I get back here just in time to get this full wave, which is exactly what I want. And again, once I have blue, I can just run my ult, farm up this whole minion wave. It's not a big deal. I'll get all the mana back. And I'll get this whole creep wave. And again, thanks to the fact that I have blue and I have a catalyst, that mana will recharge extremely fast. And now that I push this wave, I'm going to head down here. Or no, never mind. I was thinking I was going to go gank. Instead, I saw that Nazofox wasn't doing the Wraiths, so I'm just going to go grab these. And of course, it's very easy to take the Wraith camps with Swain. So in terms of these skills, where I put my points thus far, again, I maxed Torment first. Again, it makes all my other abilities deal more damage, 20% more damage from whoever gets hit by this. Like right there, there's the Harass, there's E and Q, and look how much damage Phoenix Soulblade's going to take. He lost about a third of it, no, almost half his health from those, just from those two, and there's really nothing he can do. If I get in range to use them, he takes that damage. Anyway, there is a fight going on down in bottom lane. Varusnox rocket jumping in after this, after Sivir, and right now they're getting chased, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. I can score. I should be able to pick up several kills here. Got to come down here to help out my lane. Here I see Alistar, I see Sivir. I want to target Sivir if at all possible. I'm going to catch them in that binding. Udyr is going to stun me, so right now I'm trying to use my skills on Sivir. I think I end up using one of my skills on Alistar though. So anyway, here comes Brand. He is coming in behind us. I'm almost out of mana, unfortunately, but I am going to get the kill on Alistar. And then Varusnox is going to get the kill onto Udyr right there. So that was a little bit sloppy. I was trying to focus on getting Sivir there, but I think I misclicked and used some of my skills on Alistar instead. I ran my ult for a long time, ran out of mana, and at the end there, did get headbutted, did have to flash. Did get headbutted. So overall, though, it worked out quite well. And now that we've killed their bottom lane and their jungler, we're going to look to go and take Dragon. So I was telling the team, it's like, everyone else is low. I've got my ult. Let me tank. So I'm going to use my Torment, going to use my Decrepify, going to use my Never Move, and then just run my ult for a little bit. And, you know, and just keep healing up off of this. This is going to run me out of mana, of course, but it is going to get us the Dragon. And so that's going to put us into a comfortable position here with us taking that first Dragon. And of course, always want to take that timer after you do Dragon. So I did miss out on some farm mid, but that was obviously worth it because our bottom lane would have likely suffered some deaths, and we got Dragon off it. And I believe I'm going to ward while I'm up here right now. I wanted to go and ward up here just because we need vision. Let's see, where am I going to put that? No, actually, what am I doing? I guess I'm heading up to top lane. I thought I was going to put this ward down. Oh well. Not exactly sure what I was thinking there. Any case, now I'm going to come back out right here, and again there is the Torment, and again there's just nothing Phoenix Soulblade can do. He's just going to take that Harass, and you know, he's going to lose, how much damage does this do? About 300 magic damage roughly. So like I said, that's the strength of Swain, that he can, you know, he sustains himself well in lane. He has this Harass that's really hard to deal with. It looks like Phoenix Soulblade is going to get his blue buff right now. I'm going to push to his tower, try to make him lose these minions while that's going on. Disadvantages of Swain, again, he doesn't deal a lot of burst damage. It's all damage over time. So oftentimes it's better to, you know, he can't really go in and just burst down the AD carry. That's one of the things that's that he can't do that a lot of other mages can. So that's a weakness of Swain. He is also very vulnerable to getting shutting down by Ignite. So he does not deal well with Ignite. He doesn't deal well with certain champs that have the healing debuff on them. Now right now, Phoenix Soulblade, again, he uses his Pillar, and so I'm going to try to go into Harass, but he was able to escape and back off there. I'm also sitting on a lot of gold, so I need to go back and get my Rod of Ages soon. I think I was trying to get Rod of Ages and another item, but I have more than enough gold in order to do that. Nasofax counter jungling again, so a nice move. He's been taking that red buff a couple times. Udyr is a lot less scary as a jungler without red buff. I've got the Rod of Ages, and now I could go for a needlessly large rod. Instead, I'm going to go and do something that I will do on Swain, will not normally do on other champions. Going for the Abyssal Scepter here. Again, the reason for that is I want to be able to out-trade in lane. There comes the ult up in top lane. I think Phil is actually still going to be okay here. He is Renekton. He does have a lot of health, but we'll keep an eye on this fight. Still, I think he's going to be just fine in that top lane because he is Renekton after all. So again, with Swain, you generally want to build him more tanky. I mean, it's not as important to get AP. The idea is if you build some magic resist as well, you can win trades in lane really, really easily because, you know, Bran goes in, tries to deal, you know, magic damage to me. I have magic resistance that protects me from taking damage, and meanwhile I'm healing the whole time. So just the idea is to make it really difficult for the enemy team's AP to lane against me. Now their team doesn't have that much magic damage. They have Brand, and that's really about it. So I will go for this Abyssal Scepter, and I am going to go for Merc Treads. But after that, I have to look to build more straight AP and more armor because their team is definitely more physical than magical in nature here. So again, different ways to build Swain. This is a build that I've seen suggested online. I've tried it out a little bit. It seems to work. It seems to work pretty well. The idea again just being to be more tanky with Swain than you would otherwise be. Phoenix Soulblade, if you look at what he's got, he's gone for Cirque Shoes, and his first item was Will of the Ancients, which is I'm not sure that was the right item to get for this team comp. just because, again, he's really their only source of magic damage, so an aura item like that seems to be a little bit less useful. So I'm not sure I would have gone that way. It does help him sustain in lane a little bit, but it doesn't give him any extra health whatsoever. So, I mean, look, he has 1,300 health, whereas I have 1,800 health. I also have 78 MR, and he has 30 MR. So, I mean, I can win trades so easily between us because I have more health, I have more magic resist, and I'm just, you know, if we just have a straight one-on-one, I'm stronger. Now, our blue's up. Once again, we saw Udyr coming down here, so we're going to look to try to grab him, and he is in all kinds of trouble right here. There is my E, there's my Q, and now I just need to hit the binding. I hit the binding perfectly, and that's an easy kill. So he's looking to counter jungle us, which is not a bad idea, but we had, we had vision on him, and so we're able to counter that. And then I'll take my blue buff. So this game going real well thus far. 160 minion kills. That's the most in the game. And a solid total. Again, it could be higher. Ideal would be closer to 200 right now. But this is a very solid total. I have tried to spend time going to other lanes. And it's, instead of, just staying in mid and perma-farming the wraiths all the time. I could obviously be higher if I had just stayed in lane the whole game. But 3 kills, 166 CS right now. Phil, the Renekton player, is similar idea. He has a ton of gold as well. He's also been sitting on that Heart of Gold the whole time, just been farming in top lane. And our bottom lane's a little bit closer. Right here, going in for the harass. Look how much damage that damage over time is doing. Actually wasn't running my ult long enough. But again, Phoenix Soulblade just can't trade with me because of our champs, because of the builds that we're running. If we both exchange damage, but I heal it back really fast, whereas he doesn't really have the same sustain. I mean, I know he has Will of the Ancients, but it's just not the same as what I can do. Right there, that was a little overly optimistic, just trying to hit on that binding. If I can hit a binding under the tower, I will be able to kill him. Meanwhile, in bottom lane, Rainting was able to pick up a kill. We also have a fight going on in top. I'm not sure how low these two sides are. I mean, there's a health bar over there, but that does not update in real time, even though some people have claimed in the comments it does. It does not. Hopefully we will have the spectator mode for, replays at some point in time soon. Anyway, right now, I'd love to be able to try to get a kill here, but instead I see Phil coming down to gank me, so I figure, okay, well, I can fight this. I'm going to use EQ, and then I'm going to bind Phil in the R, and I was like, you know what, I can probably kill him, but in comes Udyr with a flash, and here's Alistar as well. I was like, what are 4 people doing here in mid? So I am going to get killed right there. I just was not expecting 4 people to be mid, and Udyr actually flashed to stun me too. I don't know if you saw that, so I was like, what the? Okay. A little bit surprising there. So that is going to be my first death. Just was caught a bit off guard by how many members of their team happened to be mid at that particular time. So, I mean, I did have the ward. It's not like I didn't see Phil coming down. I saw him coming down. I was expecting a 1v2 there. I was not expecting a 1v4 in that particular fight. Anyway, and Phil was saying that my character is pretty strong right now, which is true. So I've gone ahead, I've finished the Abyssal Scepter, I've also picked up the Null Magic Mantle that's towards Merc Treads. What I need to do next is I need to build more ability power so I deal more damage, and I also need to potentially look into getting some more armor as well, just because if you look on their team, look who's been real strong so far. Rainting is 3-0 as Sivir, and Phil is 101 with a lot of minion kills and that passive gold ticking on Renekton. So it looks like physical damage is going to be more dangerous on their team than magic damage. Anyway, here comes the enemy team looking to come in here. Sivir has popped her ultimate right there. Our team is very split right now. You can see Kayle getting knocked up, uses her ultimate. There is the flash coming out. I don't think it's going to be enough. I'm trying to come in here to rescue this fight. Who is actually going to get this dragon? I'm not sure who does. Bear's going to go down. I'm going to come in, and that should be enough to finish off Sivir. So that is 1 kill right there, coming into the fight late. Now right here, actually going to toss down the ward there for vision. We need Nazofox to get out of this. Unfortunately, he has no flash because he took exhaust. Again, I'm waiting for my ult to come off cooldown there. Now it comes off cooldown, and now I'm finally going to start running it. I'm focusing on Udyr right here. I would love to get that blue buff, so I really want to get this kill, and he's just out of range. I'm going to flash in, but no, I'm not fast enough on clicking my E and my Q. I end up missing all my skills. That's not going to hit, and he's actually going to make it out of there on like 40 HP, and that was me misplaying the fight. Did not use my skills correctly. Really could have used that blue buff in there. So we end up going 1 for 3 in that particular exchange. We lost Skarner, Kayle, and Tristana, and I believe I got the only kill. So that did not go well at all. Again, I misplayed that fight. I did not use my skills correctly. Could have definitely killed Udyr if I had used my skills correctly, but I did not get off my slow or my Torment on him. And I also missed the W. And I'll just leave that comment alone right there. But Udyr was able to run out of that fight on very low health, so he was able to make his escape from that particular one. Anyway, that hurt us. I believe we did get the dragon. I'm not certain. I believe someone said during the game that we did. Again, I don't know. That was us. Our team forced that dragon a little aggressively. It's clear that they had that warded. We did not have a pink ward at dragon to clear their vision, and so they just came in and counter-ganked that. And I had gone back. I had just revived from that last fight, so I was not in that fight from the start. Got there a little bit late and wasn't able to clean that up. So, not a great fight for our team. Does make this a little bit more even of an exchange. Nazofox has been trying to steal these reds. It looks like the other team is aware of this now, and he is really kind of just needs to get out of that particular fight. Too many members of the enemy team around in the area, so need to back off from that, and that is not a good fight to force. Anyway, I have finished the Merc Tread, so that is going to be useful. Again, lessens stun duration. I probably could have killed Udyr if his stun if I had had Merc Treads before in that last fight. And right now, again, the game's pretty even. I mean, it's 8-5 in kills. I think we're slightly ahead in global gold on the game. So we're just looking right now to try to find some place to make a play. We need to look to find something. Varus is just down here farming in bottom lane. My blue is up, so I'm going to go grab that. And right now, there's not, any one clear target to focus on the map. Probably the biggest target would be this middle tower to go after if our team groups up. But there's not anything that's like super obvious to do right now. We see Udyr is coming up here in top lane, but it's pretty well warded, and Ninja Squid doesn't look like he's going to be in any trouble. I'm hanging out down here. I was thinking if they dive Aurelia, then I can jump into this fight and likely get a kill. So I was hoping that their team would go after Aurelia and dive under the tower, but it looks like they're not going to, and so I'm just going to have to back out right here. In terms of, in terms of other itemization, we've got a Phage on Aurelia along with Wriggles, and we've got a Chain Vest coming in as well. That's a good pickup for laning against Renekton right here. A lot of people hanging out around middle lane. Varus Nox does have his Infinity Edge, and that's about it so far, so he's going to have to build more attack speed, although Triss does have some natural attack speed. Up here, there's a nice initiation by Alistar. We need to go in on this fight right here. I'm trying to focus Sivir. Again, I'm going to ignore Alistar. I don't want to deal with Sivir. Unfortunately, I have been ignited. I am going to get the kill on Sivir, but I'm taking a lot of damage. A nice kill ult right there. Unfortunately, I missed my binding on Phil. If I had hit on that root, he would have died. Well, no, he wouldn't have died, but I would have been able to escape from that. So unfortunately, I missed just barely, but Phil is able to dash over my binding, and so I'm going to end up dying there. But we go 2 for 2, which is not bad considering that we were, really out of position when that fight started. Again, what to focus on in that fight, I did not want to go after Alistar. He was not a priority target. He just has gold per 10 and that's it. He really has nothing else. I wanted to focus Sivir. I was able to get that kill. Meanwhile, though, Ninja Squid's going to get knocked behind the tower. A nice flash to get out there on the side. And we want to get this tower, but it doesn't look like we're quite going to be able to polish this one off. Varus Nox needs to poke at it. He's level 13. His range is starting to increase on Tristana up to a larger level, but he still needs a couple more levels to get that sort of Trist godlike range that you get later in the game. Anyway, I picked up a Blasting Wand. I was still, at this point, I still wasn't sure quite what this was going to turn into, but I did want to pick up the Blasting Wand, likely towards Death Cap eventually. Trying to get up ability power. 262 is nothing fantastic at this stage of the game. You can easily have 400 at this point in time, but the difference is instead of 30 magic resist, I have 112. So that's going to allow me to survive a little bit longer in these fights, even though it's likely that they're going to ignite me in pretty much every fight, which they should do. Anyway, so that last fight, inconclusive, 2 for 2. Again, it looked like a bad fight for us, so I was pretty happy that we were able to go and draw that one 2 for 2. There is the Torment right there. You can see it dealing its damage over time. That's the little purple numbers that you see jumping off. There is there's the slow, what is that? The Decrepify, right? Called the Laser Bird when they first came out with Swain. So just exchanging harass there, grabbing the Wraiths over here. So again, there's not a whole lot happening in the game right now. Because the game is so close, we're continuing to lane. The laning phase generally ends sooner when one team gets ahead, so the fact that the game's still quite even is part of the reason why this is still continuing on. Again, our top target is probably still this middle tower. It is quite low. We would like to be able to get in there and finish it off just because it will help open up the map. Their team seems to be focusing on top lane up here. There is the tower going down, and that spells bad news for Ninja Squid, our Aurelia player. 3 members of the enemy team. Here comes, he's going to have to try to run out of here, and I don't think he's going to be able to escape from this. I'm trying to run up here, but he's going to fall, and then at that point I was like, I probably don't want to run into a 1v3. So their team is going to polish that one off. A lot of people around Baron. Right now, we don't want to fight. Why do we not want to fight? Well, aside from the fact that we just lost Irelia, Varus Nox is down here pushing, so our goal right now as a team is just to defend Baron. We want to make sure their team does not Baron here, and we want to just buy time for Varus Nox to continue split pushing and taking down this tower. So we've got the word coverage. We can see they're not doing Baron. With that in mind, we just want to head over to mid and defend this, wait for Irelia to respawn, and wait for them to send someone back. Clearly they're sending someone back to deal with this because they are not continuing to push on. We also do have Dragon up as well right now, so that's another thing we have to keep in mind as a team. We want to focus our attention on this. Varus is porting back out. So can we do this Dragon? Well, with the oracles we should be able to. If we can see that there's no wards here, we can look to force this fight. I'm going to ward right there. That gives us vision on the enemy team coming in, and here is their team coming in. So at that point it's like no, we don't really think we want to fight this. Too many members of the enemy team. So you're seeing me pinging to get out here. As soon as we see their team about to enter the fight, we need to get out of here. Right now Kale could ult herself, but Olgi apparently didn't realize it, or maybe just got stun locked and didn't react fast enough. But Kale ult was up. Probably could have run out of that with Kale ult. And with Kale down and with Ninja Squid up in top lane, this is just a Dragon that we're not going to be able to challenge. So we just have to give that one over to them. So overall, they're going to pick up, let's see, they're going to pick up that Dragon. I have to be a little bit careful. Don't want to get engaged upon by their whole team. The good news is our word coverage has been quite good. Right now, again, we want to stall for time. We want to stall for time and allow Irelia to push in top lane, because there's not really anything that we're going to be able to do right now. Not really anything we're going to be able to grab on the map. We did get that tower in bottom lane though, so that's a helpful for us. We have just the 2 towers down in bottom lane. We haven't gotten top or mid as yet. My blue's up. I'm going to go grab that. In terms of the farming stats, 2 people over 200. I'm at 222. Ninja Squid's 204. Varus about to go over 200 at 196. Their team also 222, 206. And Phoenix Soulblade's a little bit lower. He's running kind of an odd brand build here. Will the Ancients Rylai's? I would not recommend that build. Anyway, they're going to grab the middle tower right there. They rushed in while I was going to do my blue. We had a couple people leave mid, and we probably didn't need to do so, allowing them to slip in and get that tower. Meanwhile, fight going on in top. Doesn't look like it's going to result in a kill for either side. And now we want to try, since they just took our mid tower, we want to see if we can counter push and take their mid tower as well, since it looks like Alistar's the only one here hanging out defending it. We just need Varus to shoot this like 3 times and it will drop. So there we go. There's one shot, and they gotta be, gotta be careful here. Don't want to get engaged upon by their team. But we do have 4 here, and right there, oh, I'm gonna catch Sivir, but Rainting uses his spell shield. So I think we actually could have killed him right there if he did not spell shield that. I could have used my full combo and just gone in after the fight. They have 3 members of their team right here, maybe 4, I'm not sure. There's 1 for each team up in top lane. So again, we're trying to get this tower. It's been our objective for a while now, as I've said, but we haven't quite been able to do it. That binding a little bit optimistic. So can we get this? Yes, we are going to get the tower. Right now my ult's on cooldown again. I have to wait for it to come off of cooldown, and this time is hurting us right now. So I need to turn that on. There we go. Finally going to get that on, and we need to try to focus the right targets again. I'm trying to go after Sivir here. She's going to flash away into the back. We've got Ninja Squid teleporting in. My positioning is not the best right here. Need to get back into that fight. And again, my ult's is on cooldown, so I turned it off there. But I can use my other skills right there. Going to use my other skills on Phil. So overall, that fight went okay, 1 for 2. I don't think that I played that one particularly well. My ult was on cooldown for much of the fight, so I wasn't doing nearly as much damage as I could have. And I did not do a good job of capturing people in my never move, my binding either. So overall, not too happy with the way that fight was played. We did get mid tower, but we suffered 2 deaths compared to 1 of the other team. So I don't think that that was played particularly well. Yeah, we only killed their support. That's not very good. So anyway, right now we have to be careful. There's this big minion wave bottom, but we can't really send a lot of people there because they'll just Baron if they see, if they see our team bottom lane, they can just force Baron because we won't have personnel right there. So I'm very worried about Baron right now. That's what's concerning me most. We have no vision on this. We have to be, we have to try to get a ward up there ASAP. So I think I'm going to go and pick up one here. I know let's see, I'm going to get a needlessly large rod here, I remember, and I think I get a ward as well, just because, yeah, see, there's the 2 wards because we didn't have ward coverage up here, and I wanted us to get some vision. Fortunately, their team not at Baron yet. Here we go. We see a couple people in the area. We do have this 1 ward here that's really helping us out. I'm going to try to clear top, and then we need to rush over to Baron ASAP and make sure that they are not doing it. It doesn't look like they are right now, but you can see I typed to the team, careful of their Baron. That's what we really have to worry about more than anything else right now. Anyway, their team, we see Udyr right there. It's like, no, we don't really want to face check that. I've managed to push back this minion wave top, and fortunately for us, they did not, they didn't make any real move to go to Baron there. That's really lucky for us. I think that they could have forced a Baron fight that would have, had us out of position right there. But in the end, they did not do so. They may not have had ward coverage either. And we were able to do okay. Enemy team coming up to get me, so I'm just going to try to skedaddle back down here. We look like we're going to have a team fight here sometime soon. We may just back out, but it looks like everybody's around Baron. Looks like a logical time to fight. Unfortunately, I do not have blue right now, which means I will run out of mana in an extended fight. But right here, we catch Phoenix Soulblade. There is the Shurelya's Initiate from our Skarner player, and that's a really nice kill by Nazofox. Just catching Phoenix Soulblade at the wrong place at the wrong time. And so we're going to be able to pick off that kill. And there was some thought at this point to trying to do Baron. I wasn't really sure if this is a fight we want to go for or not. This is very aggressive. We've only killed one member of their team, and it is pretty early in the game. But we can look to do this. It's just that I'm running out of, going to run out of mana here if we're not careful. Anyway, their team does come in, so we've got the team fight we want. We have a 4v5 without them having what's his name? Without them having Sivir there. Anyway, I'm going to focus on getting Sivir in that fight. I'm going to flash over the wall to try to escape. Phil flashes after me. I have no mana, so he is going to pick off that fight. But this overall is going well for us. There is the flash away from Alistar. We've managed to go 3 for 1 in that fight. So as it turns out, yes, that was a good engagement right there. And now Phil's trying to recall here, but we've got a ward in this brush. I can't remember who warded this. I think I warded that brush when I was worried about them. But we've got full vision on him, and with 4 on 1, we should be able to pick off this kill pretty easily. Varus needs to get out of there, but the Kayle ult comes in at the perfect time, and that's going to allow him to survive that. And now we can look to go and force this Baron, because they have 3 members of their team dead, and most importantly, Udyr, their jungler, is also dead. So we're going to look to do this. And even though that fight was very risky, it did work out overall. Again, I don't know if you saw that, but I was really trying to go after Sivir in that fight. Sivir is the strongest member of their team right now. And of course, she's all offense. Phil's Renekton is also quite strong, but he's very tanky. So what I want to try to do in these fights is I want to jump on Sivir and try to kill her. And I was able to do that in that fight. I don't think I actually got the kill, but we were able to finish off Sivir right at the start of that fight, and I think that was pretty key in terms of what happened. Also, even though Phil killed me in that fight, I flashed over the wall when I got low. He flashed over the wall when he got low. He chased me down here, but while he was chasing me over here and killing me, the rest of our team was killing the rest of their team right over here. So that worked out pretty well for us overall. Anyway, yeah, they said, sorry you didn't get the buff. Not a big deal. We did get the Baron. That's what's important. I still get the gold. I still get the 250 gold, and I got a lot of assists in that fight as well, because my ult was hitting everyone. So anyway, I did get the blue buff back again, so that will help with my ult. Skarner is absolutely right. You should not hold off on doing Baron in the hopes of someone on your team getting it. Hopes of someone reviving. Not unless you're absolutely sure that there's no danger. You want to take Baron, and you don't want to take any risks on it. Right now, Ninja Squid's chasing. We see Sivir flash and ult away, but we're gonna have to back off from there. We can't get too cutesy chasing into the brush. So the rest of our team does have Baron. I was able to finish the death cap. That takes my ability power up into the dangerous range, which is around 500. And from here, I'm going to look to, I think I need to look to start getting more armor next. So the logical next item to pick up, with Renekton and Sivir being the main threats on the enemy team, the logical next item to pick up is a Zanya's Hourglass. So I'm going to look to do that next. But right now, even though we're down in kills, we're ahead in the overall game because we have more global gold. I believe we've taken 2 dragons to their 1. It might be 2 to 2. I'm not certain. But we're ahead in global gold. We have more towers down. I think we have more towers down. Let's see. No, actually it's 3 to 3 in towers, but we do have Baron, so that helps us out a bit. Now, dangerous thing here, Sivir has double buff, Rainting has double buff, so he's going to be able to clear minion waves really fast. So it's going to be a little difficult for us to try to push on this team. So we're going to have to be a little bit careful. We definitely need everyone here if we're going to push. Still, we do have the Baron regen, and notice Phil ran his ultimate. I guess he used his ultimate by accident there. So we can look to push on this tower. We do have Trist's amazing range. Varus knocks his 18, he has max range. Right there, we do get the grab on Notion, and my ult is going to finish him off. So that's a really nice engagement for our team right there. We just have to try to, get out of this fight. I hit a really nice binding that's going to allow us to finish off the kill on Phil, everyone on our team is still alive right there. Nazofox got really low. I believe he was Kale ulted in that fight. And now I'm going to get a little too aggressive. I dive in after the final 3 members of my team. I get ignited. We are going to get the kill on Alistar, but that was really not worth it. And that was a poor play on my side right there. A big time mistake. We actually ended up losing Ninja Squid as well. I just should not have gone in there after those last 3 members of our team. We had all 5 up. We had gone 2 for 0 in that fight. And it was definitely not worth it to dive in after that. We could have, you know, backed out and then continued pushing. So it was definitely not worth it to suffer 2 deaths in order to kill their support. You know, only managed to kill Alistar. So Ninja Squid is actually right. That was stupid, and that was definitely just a real misplay on my part. Too aggressive right there. We could have easily fought them 5v3 if we just back out and not make the attempt to dive right there. So anyway, silly move on my part. I actually could have escaped that if Flash had been up, but it only just came off of cooldown. So overly aggressive. Again, you want to make aggressive plays in League of Legends, but you don't want to be overly aggressive. And walking that fine line is, of course, one of the hardest things to do in this game. But that was indeed an overly aggressive play, and it led the rest of the team into a bad situation. Still, we got that tower, so now we have most of their outer turrets down. Just this one left up in top lane. That's about it. And Varus Nox is, since he's Trist and he's level 18, he now has crazy range, and he is quite fed as well at this point in time. Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper. And this is what you want as a team, obviously. You want to have at least one source of physical damage, at least one source of magic damage. So their team can't, you know, sort of straight itemize to stop either one of us because, you know, we're going to have a lot of magic damage from Swain and a lot of physical damage from Tristana. So again, that's what you want to have. Anyway, Baron is up 3 minutes, a nice call there. I did grab the needlessly large rod, so again, I'm trying to build towards getting that Zanya's Hourglass. I also, if I had had Hourglass, I also would have survived in that last fight, because when they all jumped on me, I could have used my Hourglass. It would have dropped tower aggression, and it also would have I would have taken a lot less damage from them. So if I had had the Hourglass, I would have survived that last fight too. So anyway, there we go. Now I mean, I wouldn't say I'm tanky, but I do have, you know, enough armor and MR that I won't just die instantly in these fights. Over 100 in each. I mean, not great, but to the point where it will help me survive a lot longer. Anyway, we see their team up in top, so we're going to run around in mid. We want to be ready for when Baron repops. Baron will be up again in, what is it, about 2 minutes now. So we saw them in top lane, so we're going to look to force them back to defend mid, I believe. I can't remember quite what we were thinking at this point in time. We decided we were going to swing bottom lane. Okay, so what the thinking here was we were going to push out bottom and force them to defend this tower, and then when they're defending this tower, that's when Baron will spawn, and we should be able to go over to Baron and be able to grab it right when it spawns. So yeah, Varus is saying before Baron's up, you know, we want to push out bottom lane so that they'll have to defend bottom lane while Baron is up. Bottom lane being, of course, the lane that's furthest away from the Baron buff. So anyway, that's what we're thinking here. We know that Baron's going to be up pretty soon. Anyway, we need vision here. We need a ward in this rush, like, immediately. And there it is. There's the ward, and we see their team here. And so, do we want to fight this? Yes or no? Their blue buff is up, and I think we said, yeah, actually, we do want to fight this because we want to try to get this blue, if at all possible. Like, that would really help us out if we could take their blue away from them, especially if I could get it on Swain. That would really be helpful. They've killed our ward in the brush because they do have an Oracles on their team. They have double Oracles right here. So here we go. Here comes the fight. My ult is running on most of the team. I am focusing on Notion right now just because he was the lowest one. Managed to catch Phil in a binding right here. So I've been ignited. I need to try to survive. He's going to flash over the wall and go off that way. Meanwhile, the rest of our team is chasing in this direction. Can't see quite what happened in that particular fight. This fight is still going on. Who is going to come out on top? Phoenix Soulblade running away. Nazofox and Ninja Squid are both quite low. Here comes the rest of our team chasing after them. But we did manage to go 2 for 0. We killed Sivir, the most important target, and we killed Udyr as well. So now with a 5 on 3, but only 2 of them here, we're going to go after this tower. Ninja Squid getting a little too aggressive, but he is buying us time for us to get this tower. That's part of what's important. I'm very low on health. I'm almost out of mana, so I have to be very careful about this. I thought that we were going to back here, but Varus was confident that we could get this inhibitor right here. Their team is going to revive, but we still do have a little bit of time. We just need Trist to sit back here poking at this inhib, and we should be able to get it. There we go. Now can we get Nazofox out? There is the kill ultimate. Not going to allow him to be pulverized, and we are going to be able to escape out of here. So that push ended up going quite well. Baron's up. our blue buff's up, so that push worked quite well for us. Like I said, they're going to have to defend this lane. Now super minions are going to be coming to the base through this bottom lane. And now the focus shifts to Baron, of course, since it's back up. I need to get over there. I need to do our blue, and then we need to be able, at least in a position to defend Baron, especially because their team is now fully revived, and meanwhile Ninja Squid, our Aurelia player, is still not alive. I don't know if his teleport is up or not. However, we do manage to catch Phil right here, and I'm going to catch him in a perfect binding. And so that is going to set us up to take another Baron right here. Nazofox taking damage. There is another really nice kill ult right there. I'm going to catch Phoenix Soulblade. The fight is continuing. I'm almost out of mana right now. I just have time enough for one more binding, and that is going to catch Notion. So we got a great fight right there. Rar is coming in, trying to save the fight. He's got his Oracle, but he can't... he can't rescue this by himself. So we just went 4 for 0, even though I believe that fight was a 4v5. But they kind of trickled in one at a time. And I was able to get some really nice bindings on my W. A nice ultimate as well from Palguy, who's playing as Kale. Had a really nice use of the Kale ult right there. The Kale bubble in order to save Nazofox, our Skarner player. And so even though I have no mana and I'm just auto-attacking, their whole team's dead, so they really can't do anything about this. And that is going to put us in the driver's seat right there. That was the two fights, the one right here where we were able to, get ahead of their team and then take the inhib. And then this fight right here where we took, managed to kill 4 members of their team and take a second Baron. They're really, really snowballing us ahead. Now I've got blue, now I can go back and buy. Can pick up my Zanya's Hourglass. Our red is up. Varus Nox just took their red. So right now we all want to go back and buy because we're sitting on a lot of gold. We actually have gold from the previous push over here as well as from the Baron that we just took. So there we go. There is the Hourglass. I wanted to go for Rylai's as my last item because I looked at their team. I was like, who has magic resist? Well, Renekton has a lot, and no one else on their team has any. No one else on their team has even one item that gives magic resist. Well, never mind. There are the Merc Treads. No, that's not true. That's not true. I'm exaggerating. Udyr has Wit's End and Merc Treads. So really, it's just these two. So I figured that wasn't enough to go for a Void Staff. And so I decided I'd go for Rylai's instead. I wanted to get the Giant's Belt because I wanted extra health. I wanted to be up near 1,000 health instead of 2,400, but I didn't quite have enough gold to pick it up. So I went with the Blasting Wand instead. And right now I actually have 700 ability power, so that is a lot of AP. If I highlight my ult right now, deals about, almost about 230 magic damage per second. This deals, look at how much extra damage this deals. Plus 574, oh my god. Plus 502, and this skill doesn't deal much damage. Yeah, this one deals by far the least damage, so this is why you max Q last. Doesn't really deal that much damage, but wow, my Torment deals, 800 damage over time? Yeah, 800 magic damage over 4 seconds. That is a lot. Anyway, at this point, we just want to push. Our team is a little bit slow in pushing. People went back to recall at some point. Varus now has Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper, and a Quicksilver Sash. So he is really, really strong, and he's level 18, so he has max range. And that's good news, really, really good news for us. Just very difficult for their team to, very difficult to deal with the Tristana this late in the game if you don't have one of the other two super late game carries, that being Vayne or Kog'Maw. So anyway, we're just going to try to force the fight here. I mean, as soon as Varus Nox catches up with the rest of our team, I mean, we're easily strong enough to break this turret. They're going to have to defend this minion push anyway. Notice Sivir's defending the minion push in bottom lane. So I'm going to unfortunately just catch Alistar. And I'm going to run into another team. I use Zanya's, but it's a bit of a premature Zanya's because no one was really focusing me. Phil is going to dash over here. Are we going to be able to finish him off? Yes, Varus gets the kill right there. Meanwhile, we get a grab from Skarner onto Notion, their Udyr player, so we're going to take that as well. And with 2 members of their team dead, there's really no way that they can stop this push here in middle lane. I'm trying to lifesteal a little bit off of these minions. Now we're going to go for the tower. Really just need to have Varus sit back and poke. I'm going to catch Alistar in that binding though. I'm going to go in. My ult is still on cooldown though for a little bit too long. I'm going to get the kill on Phoenix Soulblade. Then I'm going to flash out, but oh, that last tower hit. Going to finish me off. I was very disappointed with that at the time. I did not want to suffer that extra death. Then Varus is going to get taken out by the laser, and then Ninja Squid's going to get taken out by the laser. And I don't really know what our team was doing there. Not sure why they did that. So Palguy and Nazofox just have to hit the Nexus, and that will finish this one off. And they should be clear to end this game. So a little bit sloppy there at the end. The biggest issue was I was taking a few too many tower shots there. And I thought I would be able to survive, but I was not. Anyway, let's wrap this one up and finish off this game. Alright, well this was a pretty long game, so I'm going to keep this relatively short. I think this was a solid Swain game. I certainly did have some mistakes at different times. I've tried to point these out in the video, places where I could have played better, but overall I think it was a pretty good game. I was able to win the lane pretty decisively against Phoenix Soulblade. Brand is actually quite a good matchup for Swain. As long as you can dodge the skill shots, you can out-harass Brand in most of the time in mid. And then from there was just able to be a strong presence in the team fights. Was able to get 11 kills and 12 assists on 25 total team kills, which is generally a good sign. Late game, Varus Nox really took over with his build, as AD carries normally do. Can see how strong he got in the late game. And really this game was sort of Varus and I pretty much carrying this game on our team. We had great contributions from the rest of the team. We had some nice stuff, nice Skarner grabs, nice kill ultimates at a couple points in time. But I think this is also a good example of sort of how you want to have, sort of your solo roles get ahead and try to snowball the game and try to take charge sort of in kind of a leadership role. Anyway, thanks to everyone for playing. Rainting ended up getting really strong on their team as well, was putting out a lot of damage at the end of the game, but they didn't quite have enough tankiness in order to protect Sivir in those fights, so wasn't quite able to stay alive. We were able to burst down Sivir in a lot of the key fights, and I think that made the difference. Anyway, thanks again for everyone who played in this game. Thanks for watching, for everyone who saw this. Hope you enjoyed this match, and should be some more stuff up soon. So until later, take care. See you guys again soon. Have a great week.